Hello and welcome to LFC Focus. Liverpool are taking on Bournemouth on Wednesday night and I'm pretty optimistic about this game. Obviously last time out we played Everton, we played very well. We weren't amazing tactically or anything and there wasn't the sort of fluidity that we've seen earlier on in the season, but it just seemed like the players went out and said, we're better than Everton, we have what it takes to beat them, so we just need to show that quality, prove our own ability, and with that we'll get the 3 points. And we just need that exact same philosophy against Bournemouth, because while they are one of the so-called smaller teams, if Liverpool just go out and say we can beat Bournemouth, so we're going to, and we're going to get the 3 points, then I don't really see any reason why they can't. Obviously the big news going into this game is the fact that we are going to be missing Sadio Mane. We're obviously already missing Jordan Henderson and Adam Lallana. They're away in the United States right now, I think for a little bit of a holiday/recuperation period. But Sadio Mane got injured in the Merseyside derby. We don't really know yet what it's going to be like. First of all, it looked like it was going to be better than we first feared, but now it's starting to look like it might actually be a little bit worse, and he could even potentially miss the rest of the season, which would be terrible for Liverpool. But as far as we know, he is out for this game against Bournemouth and the one against Stoke at the weekend. So the question now is, how do Liverpool replace him? For me, I'd quite like to see us go just simply like for like and put someone else out on the right wing who's going to do not the same job as Mane, because we don't have the same kind of player as Sadio Mane, as we found out when he went to the African Cup of Nations. But I think the problem we had when he went to AFCON was that we fiddled around with the team too much and started moving players around. We took Lallana out of the midfield and put him in the front three. We were putting Firmino out wide. We were doing all sorts of strange things. And really, I think what we need to do is simply put someone else there and then don't disturb the rest of the team. Because while Origi, obviously he came on and he got his goal at the weekend, I don't think having Origi in the middle and then Coutinho and Firmino either side of him really works, because it takes a lot of width out the side. We didn't really look that threatening for the last half hour of the game compared to the first half hour when Sadio Mane was on the pitch. So the three players that I think will probably play right wing are either Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's an out there kind of shout, but he is good playing in an attacking sense down the right flank. We've only really seen him at right back this season, but I think he's a bit of a utility player for the academy. He's played centre mid a few times, so he's not unfamiliar with being shifted around the pitch a little bit, so he wouldn't be too phased, I think, playing right back. He did play quite an attacking role at the end of the Merseyside derby, and he's pretty good in the box. It would be nice to see him get a goal as well. Daniel Sturridge could also play at the right wing. He's also been deployed there a few times this season. We know that he doesn't like playing there, but if asked to play there, he needs to be professional and just do his job, and he is a very good footballer. He's not going to sort of run down the byline and whip in crosses with his right foot like Sadio Mane does, but he does offer the same sort of pace and directness that Sadio Mane has, even if that does mean he's going to be getting in the box a little bit more and trying to get a few more goals. Divock Origi is the last option. I think, honestly, Divock Origi, he's better down the middle, so I'm not sure about whether I'd want him playing in this game, because while he's good to have on the right flank towards the end of the game when we're maybe trying to close out the 3 points and close out a lead, he just sort of puts in a bit of hold-up play further up the pitch and slows things down and keeps the ball away from any threatening areas. But for 90 minutes, I'm not sure he's the right player for Liverpool to have on the right flank. I think Jurgen Klopp is probably going to go with having Divock Origi in the middle and then Firmino and Coutinho either side of him, because, he trusts Origi, he trusts Firmino and he trusts Coutinho. But for me personally, that's what I'd like to see, just having Firmino kept in the centre and then someone else going out on the right wing. Midfield, I think it stays the same. Lucas, very good game in the derby. It's a different game against Bournemouth. It's not going to be as heated. He's probably going to be asked to do a little bit less defensive work, but I have all the faith in him that he'll fulfil the role asked of him in central defensive midfield. Emre Can and Wijnaldum either side of him, got no problems with that either. They've been playing very well. Emre Can's hit form. Gini Wijnaldum's obviously very important to the side, so that's fine as well. And I think the back line will probably stay the same again. Milner, Matip, Lovren and Klein. They're playing very well. It's the back line that we expected to see at the start of the season and the one that was working before things like Joel Matip getting injured, so no problems there. And then I think Mignolet in goal as well. So really it's just the attack that should be messed around a little bit, but hopefully by keeping the rest of the team as it is, it shouldn't mess around with the team too much. So, like I said, I'm optimistic about this game. Hopefully we'll be seeing other teams around Liverpool dropping points. Obviously, Man U are playing Everton on Tuesday night. That hasn't happened yet when I'm recording this, so hopefully Man U will drop points there. Arsenal are playing West Ham. Arsenal are all over the place at the moment, and West Ham do like to turn up against Arsenal, so could see some more drop points there. And then obviously City are playing Chelsea, which means that one of them is going to drop points. And given that we're not really in the title race, I'm hoping that it's going to be Manchester City. So I'm optimistic going into this game. I think that Liverpool are going to get the 3 points. So here are my 3 reasons why we will beat Bournemouth. So first of all, tactically, I think this is the kind of game that favours Liverpool, because while there has been talk all through this season that we can't perform against the so-called smaller teams, Bournemouth, while they are a bottom half Premier League team, they don't sort of play in that Tony Pulis defensive part the bus kind of style. They do come to play, and while that benefits them in games against the teams lower down in the table, I think it does come back to bite them in games against the bigger teams, because while they do have that plan to play good football, good attacking football, and really take the fight to the team they're playing against, when playing against a team that are better than them, I think the lack of quality just shows through. Good example of this when they played Man City earlier on in the season, and you know, they were trying to create chances all the way through the game, but things just weren't really going for them. And at the other end, when City got their chances, they put them away. So City came away with a good 2-0 win. So hopefully that's the kind of thing that I'm hoping and expecting Liverpool will do this weekend, because obviously Bournemouth are going to probably leave a little bit more space around the back. They're not really in a relegation fight, so they probably won't be as cagey as some of the other teams that we'll face later on in this season. So I just think this is going to favour Liverpool. Obviously, we did lose to them earlier on in the season, but up until the 75th minute, we were reasonably comfortable in that game. And if it wasn't for that massive collapse in the last 15 minutes, then that would have probably been a 3 or 4-1 win and we would have come away fine. So hopefully we can do what we did in the first 75 minutes of the game against Bournemouth and try and avoid what happened in the last 15. Second of all, Felipe Coutinho looks like he's finally hitting the form that he was showing earlier on in the season again, and starting to show again the kind of world-class player that we know that he can be at Liverpool. Earlier on in the season, he was fantastic. You know, he was scoring, he was assisting, he was just showing that he was a cut above every other player on the pitch, and he looked like that again in the Merseyside derby. Obviously, he was up against Pennington, who was a very inexperienced defender, so that sort of helped Coutinho a bit, but he's not going to be up against amazing defenders against Bournemouth either. So hopefully he's starting to improve his game against the smaller teams. He'll take that on through the rest of the season, and he can get that off to a good start against Bournemouth. And this also brings me into my last reason, which is the fact that while, like I said, Liverpool did lose to Bournemouth earlier on in the season, we're a bit of a different team to when we played them last time out. Obviously, we didn't have Coutinho in that game, and I think that affected us quite badly in an attacking sense, because not only do we lack Coutinho, but Firmino is a very different player when he doesn't have Coutinho to his left. Firmino was out on the left that game and he just had a shocker. He wasn't really doing anything. He wasn't really getting into any good positions or creating anything. So hopefully now with Coutinho next to him and being back in his central striker role as well, which is where we can probably expect him to play, he'll be putting in a bit of a better performance as well. We had Lovren and Lucas at centre-back in that game, which I think we know by now it doesn't work at centre-back, Lovren and Lucas. I think Lovren and Lucas will be playing in this game as well, we expect, but Lucas is much better in central defensive midfield, and Lucas is Lovren is much better when he's playing alongside Matip in the central defence. So that's all for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Here's hoping that Liverpool can get the win on Wednesday evening, and then I'll see you straight after the game for the post-match video. Until then, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're new around here, like the video if you enjoyed it, and follow at LFC Focus TV on Twitter. Bye for now.